Tonight, Facebook's chief executive, Mark Zuckerberg, finally issued a statement in response to the furore concerning the use of data collected by the social media giant. He admitted mistakes had been made and said he would take steps to prevent similar abuses happening again. The company was plunged into crisis amid allegations that data from more than 50 million Facebook users had been harvested by Cambridge Analytica. In the wake of the scandal, Facebook's shares plummeted and many angry users have vowed to get rid of their accounts. So what has been going on with the network and how much damage has been done to its reputation? We spoke to the social media marketing specialist, Mike McGrail, and the newspaper columnist, Anna Burnside. So Facebook's chief executive, Mark Zuckerberg, has made a statement tonight saying they've made some mistakes. What's your reaction to the statement?
I think it's very clear in that where the blame has been pointed, he's pointed it squarely at Facebook and himself, but also not held back in naming other parties. They have come out and said that we're going to be putting new regulations in place and new measures to try and avoid this in the future. But I think the fact of the matter is that it's been going on a while and they could have done things earlier. They were aware of this up to 2015, apparently. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much it's going to appease people.
Anna, what have you made of the whole saga?
Well, first of all, a fantastic piece of journalism from The Observer, uncovering this, spending a year getting to the bottom of this, something that we really need to know about. You know, this is unacceptable behaviour. A small number of people, a few hundred thousand people sign up to play a daft personality quiz on Facebook, and it ends up with 50 million people having their data scraped. I mean, that's not what the internet's for. You know, that's not what people go onto Facebook for. So I think this is a really enormous scandal. It's a clear case of technology running way, way, way ahead of ethics and how we think about how we use these things and what controls we need to be putting in place.
Mike, explain how that worked then. How did they scrape the details from this quiz?
It was yeah.
Look at your face.
I know.
It was effectively a backdoor, so you take part in this quiz, but unbeknownst to you, that was also letting this look at the Facebook data for your friends. So that's why it spread out with just you into these 50 million sets of data. And it just really rings alarm bells for a lot of people saying, I didn't know this was happening. I'm taking part in what rightly was a daft quiz, and this is the outcome of that.
And that's the terrifying thing. I mean, who hasn't on a train or whatever done a daft quiz on Facebook or played a game or any of those, you know, those games that used to be big on Facebook that everyone was always sending you invites to play and it drove you bonkers. And the reason these were all free was because in playing them and in signing up for them, you were letting these developers into the back door into your Facebook profile and all the data about you that contains.
But should we not just be getting smarter? When you sign up to these things, I mean, don't we know that, you know, we're giving something away and we do it anyway?
This isn't a new thing, it's been going on for years, and I think one of the responsibilities for Facebook and the social networks, certainly moving forward, has to be to make people far more aware of exactly what they're giving away and how to change things. There's bits and pieces you can do online within the Facebook settings, for example, to say, I don't want to give that away. So the responsibility now lies with them.
I was just going to add that I think a really good way of thinking about this is that if you're doing something online and it's free, a fun thing like playing a game, you have to realise that you're the product, that you're paying for this, whatever daft entertaining thing you're doing, you're paying for it by giving your data.
I mean, there's this hashtag online now saying delete Facebook. Do you think people are going to desert Facebook now?
Maybe in the short term they might deactivate their accounts, but I actually ran a poll on Twitter last night. There was about 100 respondents. I said, are you going to delete your account, or have you deleted your account in the last 48 hours? And only 4% of those people came back and said yes. It's not going to be the end for Facebook. They will recover, but it's just that initial shock. It's the biggest scandal they've faced, so how they're going to recover from it is going to be really interesting to see.
And they have got so many people following on Facebook anyway. Will it matter? It doesn't matter if you desert it.
Well, I think the kind of people...
I mean, are you going to delete yours?
Well, no, because I use it for work. You know, it's another thing I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I think a whole generation have already deleted Facebook anyway. I don't think young people are using this at all. It's become a kind of yerda social media platform. Anyway, I think the kind of people who might delete it because of this are the kind of people who'd probably moved away a bit from it anyway, and are the kind of people who would read the small print and click all these fiddly little boxes and not be sharing their data anyway. And also, the countries where this has affected people, the UK and the US, are actually quite a small part of Facebook's world and global domination. And in other countries where there's less stratified social media than we have here, Facebook is the internet. And I don't think people there are going to delete it.
Is the younger generation not interested in Facebook then?
There has been, in the last 2 to 3 years, they've been shifting to other platforms. So Instagram, which, by the way, Facebook owns, is a big one for the younger generation now. And also Snapchat. Snapchat's unfortunately struggling a little bit now. But the biggest user base on Facebook now is 45 plus. And I can't see them necessarily wanting to move away from it, because it's ingrained in a lot of our lives in deep ways, more than we think.
And Mark Zuckerberg was also saying today that he was going to make it less easy for people to get information from apps. But is that not their whole business model?
That's where they could feel it, because obviously a lot of brands and companies use their Facebook ad model, which is highly targeted. So if the data isn't as deep and the access to that is reduced, then it's not as appealing to these companies to pile their money into it. So they may feel that. But the fact of the matter is that Facebook and Google, their key revenue is from advertising. So Facebook aren't going to allow that to be attacked too much.
I mean, what do you see for the future of Facebook then, if this is going to be affected?
Well, I would love to see ad revenue streams flowing back away from social media and into lovely things like, for instance, newspapers. They're a lovely place for advertisers to be spending their money. But back in the real world, I don't really think that's going to happen. I mean, these people are too smart and too clever. They'll find a way around it.
OK, well, we'll have to leave it there. But thank you both very much indeed for joining us this evening.